Hello, everyone. Welcome to day one, panel one of the Business and HR Strategy and Budget Planning Summit. I'm Sneha, head of events at Hacking HR, and I'm very excited to kick things off with you all today. I've always been someone who gets deeply curious about how we plan, not just dream, but really plan for the future that really works better. And when it comes to the budget planning in HR, that's one of those things. I think everyone from interns to executives, from CPOs to CHROs, everyone should understand better. And just rewinding back to a quick story, the days when HR used to be seen as a department of no budget, no data, no seat at the table, but things have gradually shifted in 2025, and HR is now at the center of business strategy, driving it, not just about supporting it. Like, think about the HR influencing product roadmaps, aligning people's plans with business outcomes, and starting with the budget and not just ending with it. So that's exactly what we are right diving into this first panel today. And we are diving into the topic, the role of HR in business and strategic planning. To kick us off, I'd love for everyone here in the summit, in the panel, to just add one word that comes to your mind when you think of strategic HR into the chat. And please drop it down, and we will scroll through it and see how's the energy in the room. And now it's time to meet the awesome panelists joining us today. I would love for each of you to please introduce yourselves by sharing who you are, what you do, and what's that one shift you think HR leaders must make today to stay relevant in business strategy. And I would love to go in the clockwise, and I see Propcha at the top. Let's start with you. Propcha, can you hear me? Okay, while she could adjust with the things, yeah, I have next Alessandra.
Hi, good morning. Can you hear me?
Yes,
Okay,
perfect.
wonderful. Yes. Hi, everyone. My name is Alessandra. I lead human resources and general business operations at a small mortgage lender in South Florida in the US. I've been in HR for about 10 years now, really helping businesses grow, usually from no HR team to, a company of 300 in one circumstance. So very familiar with kind of building from the ground up. And so to answer your question, one shift I see HR having is really being having a seat at the table, at the leadership table, and transitioning from, especially with AI, from a role that's administrative or support, and leaving that behind to be a strong voice at the leadership table. So that's, I think, where we're headed.
Thank you so much. Lovely having you on the panel today. Thank you for joining. And let's jump into Emmanuel.
Okay, so thank you, Sneha. My name is Emmanuel Michael. I'm Director of HR at Eco Hotels. I'm also a certified leadership and career coach and founder of HR with EM. So for me, what I've observed is that too often HR is invited in after the business plan is written. But the real impact happens when HR helps to design the plan from the start. So my take is that for any business to succeed, there is need to have HR from the start, not coming in at the end when things have been concluded in order to get their view. So HR people should seek out opportunities to be in there from the beginning. So you begin to define, and in every conversation, you are able to analyze what are the people implications, for the business. And because you need the people to be able to achieve the goals. So the people agenda must be topmost in every organization that wants to harness its competitive advantage.
Thank you so much, Manu. Thank you. That was amazing. And here we have Shivendra. And just so we could ask, could we address you as Shiv for the rest of the panel to keep things?
Yes, yes. Generally, people refer me by that. That's a lot easier. Feel free.
Yeah. Thank you.
All right. Thank you, Sneha. Thank you, everybody. I love the way people introducing themselves. Energy is high. Thank you very much. So, Shiv, as usual, to make it easy, and I head people operations at Ergod Incorporation. That's an e-commerce company. So we have majority of the market in US. That's where we are, and then other than that, there are 54 more countries that we sell our products. And basically me, I come from sales background, business development background, and then happened to get into HR, and then I never left it. So I loved it, like anything, people, and then plus business understanding helped me kind of take learn a lot more. And then the moment I see when an HR having business understanding, they are understanding the language that business teams are speaking. Hey, fair enough. Okay, the bottom line is going down, and top lines are already down. What are you doing? How can you contribute to the business? So I've kind of anonymously changed HR functions name as people operations. So HR enabling businesses through human resources practices, growing businesses through human resources practices. That's the real job of human resources in the company that I have been part of. And I am looking forward to contribute and learn a lot from you. Over to you, Sneha. That's all for now. Thank you.
Thank you so much. That was impressive. And here we have Praptasha, and I would love for her to introduce herself.
Hi, everyone. Sorry about that glitch earlier. My name is Praptasha. I head HR for a visual effects firm that's based out of Toronto. The name of the firm is Monsters, Aliens, Robots, and Zombies. And that's exactly what we do. And over the last couple of years, we have also ventured into the world of AI. And we have two different products that are into this visual effects space as well as lip syncing. And the newer product that we're working on is called a LipTub. So I have been in the field of HR for more than 12 years now, and it has been a rewarding experience. I've been looking at the evolution of how HR has been transforming within its businesses as well. From being a purely reactive function a couple of years ago, it's encouraging to see that there's a seat where you are heard of, and the practices that you want to put in place more proactively are taken up more seriously by almost everyone that I speak with inside and outside the organization. So it's great to see that the function in itself is evolving, and it is high time where HR stop being recognized as that support function and is more, of a business function that it has merits itself to be.
Thank you so much. That was amazing. And so I would love to do a quick 10 to 15 minutes of personalized questions with all of you, just so we get your own perspectives from your own professional experience before we dive into the internal part of the budget planning strategies. And I would love to start with Alessandra. So here is the first one for you. How do you integrate HR strategy with the overall business strategy, especially when navigating multiple stakeholders and rapid change?
Yeah, it's a good one, right? So, I mean, at the end of the day, HR strategy is business strategy, right? So if they're not aligned, you're going to be rowing in circles. So I always say, it's the people that drive the plan. So if the business wants to grow, expand, shift, which if you're in a successful business, like that's going to happen, you need the right people and the right roles to make that happen. So, HR cannot sit on the sidelines. We are the engine that fuels that strategy. And Shiv, you even mentioned that before, right? That you need the two. So otherwise, you're going to feel like you're swimming upstream, and you're not going to be aligning what the business is looking to do with where you're actually going. So to do that well, you need to understand what the leadership vision is, where they're headed, and it's not just this month or this quarter, but it's in 1 year, 3 years, 5 years down the road. And one of the first things when I start a role is to understand what's the company's vision. And if they don't have one, you help define it. You need that North Star and you need that clarity in what you're trying to achieve in order to even have a shot at achieving it, right? So that's really how you're going to link HR goals to the company's direction and avoid working in silos or paddling in opposite directions. Another way to do this is to really show up as a thought partner, right? So ask questions, insert yourself, and I don't mean barge in the room in a meeting you're not invited to, but see how you can really inject yourself in those conversations. And if something doesn't add up, push back. You're not a yes man, and you're also not there to argue, but you're there to shape the plan with leadership alongside leadership. Right, and then I would say a final point on this: if anybody is a reality TV fan, show the receipts, show me the receipts, like tie HR work to the results, use data to prove impact, right? So, okay, leadership, we decided to do this, and as a result, Y happened, and here's the data to back that up, and that could be for better or for worse, right? And it could show that this resulted in faster hiring or better retention or the opposite. And here's the kind of skills that we need to build that and fuel that growth. So it's going to also just help your credibility and show a real cause and effect of the efforts of the HR business strategy as it ties to that business strategy, and help the company and the leadership make better decisions that ultimately impact the culture, impact the bottom line.
That's amazing. Couldn't agree more. And if anyone have something to add on to that, I would let you, or we will jump on to the next. Okay, I would shift to Shiv. So, as a person who is a CPO, how are you leveraging people insights and analytics to influence enterprise decisions and resource allocation?
Sure. So sales number is something that I started my career with, and now it's been almost 11 years in human resources. So things been quite enriching and learning. I remember when we were in sales, we were totally focusing on numbers. Okay, fair enough. This is the number that we have to achieve. These are the numbers that's already there. Fair enough. There's a shortfall. Let's find out what we need to do. And now analytics in human resources actually works like GPS for the CEOs or CXOs, non-HR people. That analytics and reports, dashboards show them where your company is. And when if this GPS is not right, it's just like driving with the incorrect data on Google Map and just landing somewhere you never ever dreamed of to be, right? So the reports when we started dashboard, of course we had our own teething issue in terms of incorrect data and data inefficiency and all that over the period of time. As of today, though it might sound many number of dashboards or reports, we have around 55 plus reports running every month. And what I've done is, we used to forget, let's say somebody forgets sending this particular report on certain day. What we did, that we started publishing weekly calendars for our own selves. Fair enough, these are 55 reports. This is the schedule that needs to be sent on this particular day. Is it done or not? If it is not done, why it is not done? If it is done, perfect, check off, move on. And that is how things were aligned, specifically first to put data in place, visible to everyone, to look at it and take action. Now, how did it help? Number one, in terms of attrition, when we attrition is something that's real. We can't just avoid it. So when we started getting into the data and we identified, okay, this is the cluster where we are facing maximum number of attrition, we got into it. We identified the actionables over there? What is the scope of improvement that we can do? Train people. We started building skill passports. So a skill passport is nothing but there's a tool wherein everybody has to input their skills that they think they're stronger at, and the manager have to vet it. Fair enough, you are 4 out of 5 on this one skill, and wherever, and all these skills are required for that particular role. If they're good at it, fair enough. If they're not good at it, then we go ahead and train them. So that was one part wherein analytics helped us, and the another part was about NPS survey. When we do it, then we actually put it across the attrition, and we realized, okay, these are the specific feedbacks that we are getting. And of course, with the AI, it has become a lot easier. It was never easy to analyze the data and understand the actionables, specifically what to do, how to do. The only thing that we have to do is execute. Of course, 90% is something that you can rely on AI, but 10% is something you have to do on your own, because eventually it's a word predictor that AI is all about. And that's when we understood about it. The another point that I want to talk about, sales incentives. So we have sales function as well, like every other company. So sales function was, something was missing, in particular area of sales, something was really missing. And we revised our complete incentive structure based on which parts. For example, let's say if this outcome will be their desired outcome after accomplishing these many tasks. So we put incentive on the tasks. You complete these many tasks and you get rewarded on basis of that. And we fortunately we saw 15% jump in the sales in that area. Not only sales, we had also rewarded people on the bottom line as well, and that's when they started focusing. Okay, fair enough, let's not spend more, make sure that our particular brand is getting more profitable too. So that these are some of the examples that I wanted to share with you, which I and my team experimented, and still the journey continues, and I'm sure we have a lot to learn. Scope is there.
Thank you, Shiv. That's amazing. And yeah, I think our audience are taking up good notes to just grab that little tricks and tips and also insights from our amazing speakers today. So that's really helpful. And here we have Emmanuel. So, as being a person in the HR world, how have you successfully positioned HR as a strategic partner in business planning rather than just an administrative function?
Okay, thank you, Sneha, for that beautiful question. So I'm going to describe 3 major ways in which I've positioned HR as a strategic partner in business planning rather than just administrative function. So the first that I would like to talk about is that part of what I've done in all the organizations that I've worked, including the current one, is that I've positioned myself in such a way that I've shifted HR from just a support role to a driver of business outcomes, okay? So move from support role. Most organizations, you see that HR is just providing support. But what I've done is to ensure that HR does not just provide support, but we are now driving the business outcome. And how did we do that? By basically linking people's strategies directly to revenue. So we need to look at what is the impact that people are making in the organization? How much is each person contributing? So showing that result, that this person we've hired, maybe we have a challenge with sales in certain area, the people that we're hiring, how are they contributing to make sure that revenue is going up? And when anyone exits the business, I'm also able to analyze and show how much we're losing for letting this person go. Customer satisfaction, okay? HR is in the forefront of ensuring that the data that we gather for customer satisfaction, that information is used to develop the people within in order to address the challenges and ensure that we do not get negative customer reviews, but positive ones. Then the other thing that I've also done is in terms of innovation, okay? When there is need for us to, when we have a particular challenge within the organization, we don't just go looking outside for consultants to come and help us solve the problem. But in-house, we try to share the challenge and allow people within the organization to suggest. I remember one of the hotels where I worked, we wanted to name the restaurant. And we had to train competition within, okay? And then people began to suggest names. At the end of the day, we selected a particular name, and that was what was used. The service that was to be made in that particular, the menu, we got information from the people, contribution from people within the organization. The other thing I've also done is to introduce workforce analytics, okay? You notice that sometimes decisions are being made. In order to make decisions, you're looking for data. So I've also introduced workforce analysis. I remember one of the companies where I joined, we discovered that people were leaving and the attrition level was very high, okay? Because the attrition level was as high as 50%, people come in and they don't even spend up to 3 months, they leave the organization. First, I decided to deploy a tool to find out why are people leaving? And those who are within the system, why are they remaining? And in the course of trying to find out why are people leaving, it dawned on us that those who were leaving is because they did not have enough information about the job. So by the time they come on board and they now see that the job is not exactly what they are expecting, they begin to drop off. And so what I did was, first of all, to create like an awareness session for all the candidates who have shown interest in the job, walk them through what the job looks like, okay? After doing that, then those who are now interested will then sign up before we begin the process of the interviewing and all that. And that helped save us a lot. So all the people that we took through this particular process, we then discovered at the end of the year, turnover, which was about 50%, dropped drastically to below 5%. So that was something we did. And it's only because we were able to get information around what was happening with the quality of people they were bringing on board, what was happening with why they were leaving the place, and that was why we were able to get this done. Then the other thing, again, is being active in the planning table or at the planning table. So I've tried as much as possible in every organization that I work to be part of the business meeting. I don't wait for business meetings to be made and then decisions are now rolled out. So I don't just get involved only in the implementation stage. So I recall a time, one of the organizations where I work, we were a state bank, it was the state bank, and the plan was to go national. So I was part of the people who sat at the strategy table to agree which locations we need to expand to. And in the course of deciding where we want to go to, there are people implications. And that was where issue about the structure, the org structure of the organization, how the workflow is going to be, because this is the first time we're going out of just one location. The business has been in one location for close to 7 years, and now trying to expand. Part of the contribution at that meeting was to design and agree what sort of strategy, what sort of operating model would we even run? Okay, so those are some of the things that I've done. So actively participating at the planning table, not just the implementation stage, and then ensuring that talent implications are always considered before strategies are finalized. Because some organizations, you notice the strategy will be finalized, and then HR is just given a document to implement. And in the course of implementing, we then discover that there are challenges and problems, and then we now have to go back to rethink the strategy. So to avoid such a situation at the forefront, for every business meeting, I'm present. So those are some of the things that I've done, making sure that HR is seen as a business partner, a strategic business partner, and not just an administrative function. The other thing I think I would like to add is helping to build the line managers, okay? Build the capacity of line managers to know that they are responsible for managing their people and not just moving everything to HR. Because I remember some of the organizations where I've worked before, when there is a people issue, a performance issue, productivity issue with an employee, the line manager will want to shift everything to the HR. So what I've done is to carry the line manager along, keep them and let them know that they are responsible for managing their people, because I cannot be administering discipline on the person who is working with you, because I don't really know how their performance or productivity are. What exactly is their productivity? You are the one managing them, so you should be able to know how to ensure that you get the best out of them. So my role is to provide capacity building for the line managers who will then be able to get the best out of their people. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Manuel. Thank you so much. That's amazing. And yes, I would jump on to the next question with Praptasha. And yeah, here we go. As a person who has been well experienced in the HR space, being a CHRO, how do you ensure HR is directly tied into high level conversations on growth, transformation, and long term competitiveness?
That's a really interesting question. Thanks for that, Sneha. I mean, I could go on and on this topic forever, but I would like to keep it short. I would also like to summarize probably everything that the panel just spoke about, like everything that Alessandra and Shiv and Emmanuel have just touched upon. The way in which I am trying to ensure that we have that advantage in terms of having that seat on the table for any strategic plan that the company is taking is by ensuring that things are falling in place where they should. Like, for example, I'll just pick up on what Shiv had mentioned earlier. The fact that right now, if you're looking at the scenario in the entire world right now, there are two things that are often spoken about in each and every field, not just HR, which is data and AI. So ensuring that you are correctly leveraging on the data that is available to you, and you're keeping yourself aware of what's happening outside in the industry. You're keeping yourself abreast of the trends that are in, what's working, what's not working, trying to implement the things that will definitely work, like filter out the things that will work for you within the organization, and getting on with that is key. Because if you're not doing that, if you're not catching up, you tend to become irrelevant in a very short period of time. That's unfortunately how the world is currently. So keeping abreast of things that are moving fast. AI, which unfortunately is looked at an enemy by a lot of people, it's more of a tool than anything else right now. So if you are not leveraging on AI tools that are available in the market to upskill yourself and your team to, let's say, like, how can you use AI better in the field of recruitment, for example, that's like a very generic but a very small example, then you're probably still putting your team through that torture of going through n number of resumes, even if you have the best ATS in the world. So if you're unable to use the tools that are available to you, then you are doing yourself a disservice. So ensuring that you are using the right kind of tools, you're using the right kind of analytics, the right data is in place, it's key. And then talking about how you need to ensure that you are speaking the language of business, which is what Alessandra and Emmanuel have both touched upon, is also important. You're not just talking about a budget that you are working with as a person in HR, but you're also talking about the financial implications that your decisions will eventually take. And in order to do that, you need to know what changes the business is planning. So you have to be aware, you have to speak the language of the business that you are in. You need to know what you are into as much as someone in an operations or a sales does. Because if you are not updated in terms of what your business is doing, what your organization is setting up, what plans they do have, you are not aligned with them, and then you tend to become that administrative support forever. So ensuring that you are up to date with the business changes, ensuring that you have the right kind of tools, ensuring that you are analyzing, you are understanding the gaps that exist in the teams, and trying to, fill that gap with trainings, with whatever it is that you need to put in place to ensure that gaps are decreasing, if not eliminated. These are key. I would like to stick to these key points at this point, because like I said, I can go on this topic forever and would never end. But yeah, these are the key things that I try to ensure that are in place, so that we do have that edge. Continue
Thank
to.
you so much. Thank you so much, Praptasha. That is really helpful. And yes, as we are short by time, yeah, I would love for us to just go a little more deeper into the topic and learn a little bit of your own perspectives about what does strategic planning really mean to you, and what are the biggest challenges that you think HR faces when aligning goals with the business objectives? And you can add up, just in case if you do know, what has helped you overcome that. And
Sure.
yeah, anyone
I
could
can
go
go
ahead.
ahead. Sure. All right. So I'll quickly do it. One recent example. Last Friday I was at one of the conferences and I was part of the panel. It was actually about AI. And one thing that I have realized that so far org structure, I'll keep it quick. So far org structures were like CEO, and then CEO is like generalist. He has to know everything: finance, sales, marketing, everything. And then there are specialists: HR head, finance head, sales head, marketing head. Now, in the upcoming era, what's going to happen with AI transforming the world, that CEO definitely has to remain generalist, but at the same time, CEO has to adopt AI, that's for sure, CEO, founder, whoever it is. And then these specialists will have to become AI generalists. So AI generalist, now this strategic change that has to be applied and led by human resources leaders, in my opinion. Of course, CEO is there, he has a lot of things, but we as human resources, so all these transformation in organizational structure that has to be done is very important. So somebody who has AI understanding, who has done AI, can now do finance, sales, marketing, whatever. Sales is something, of course, you have to do it again and again and consistently, never ends. But finance, marketing, all these things, you can do it. Just one person can do all these things. So CEO, founder, generalist with AI, and then AI generalist under them. And then there would be these AI agents. So AI agents would majorly be doing all these basic work so far that human resources were doing. So this one strategic objective and observation that we as HR can only do when we are staying updated with what's the trend that's going on in the market, how some businesses are going to completely become obsolete and completely new businesses are going to rise and shine that we never thought of. This is something that we got to be staying ready with, and we have to strategically align human resources activities to the business growth and future. This is what I had to add. Thank you.
Thank you so much. And yeah, Alessandra, go ahead.
Yeah, I'll keep it really short. So, maybe the first part of your question was, what does strategic planning really mean to you? So, I would summarize it as making sure that the business actually has the people, the skills, and the right culture to deliver on its goals. And without that, even the best strategy is just words on paper. And I think that what continues, unfortunately, to be one of the bigger HR challenges that we face when we're kind of aligning the goals with the business objectives is, and Emmanuel, you touched on this as well, but it's to be part of that conversation from the very start. And that is in part helping to change the minds of leadership so they understand that the efforts that HR does to build the culture, to deliver on those goals are deeply going to affect the bottom line. That we are a business function and a money-making function, just like everything else. It's not cute plans to do X, Y, and Z. It's a very integral, if not the most critical piece of the business. So I would say it's just continuing to sort of change the old way of thinking about HR, like we've talked about as that admin function, into a needing to have a seat at the table so the business can be successful.
Thank you so much. Love that.
Go ahead, Emmanuel.
Okay, since we're running out of time, so I just wanted to talk about basically what specific role HR should play in shaping and executing business strategy plans. Okay, and I'm going to be very quick about it. One is that HR should become the talent architect, and by talent architect, I mean that HR must ensure that the right people with the right skills are in the right roles to execute a strategy. Two, the next role that HR should play is to become the culture custodian. By culture, to build a culture that reinforces business objectivity, business objectives. For example, agility, innovation, and service excellence. HR should be the change partner in the organization. And by change partner, HR should lead smooth transitions during restructuring, digital transformation, or growth phases. And finally, HR should also be that strategic bridge, okay? HR should connect leadership visions with employee execution through communication, training, and performance systems. And then looking ahead, one shift that HR leaders must make today to remain relevant and impactful in driving business strategy over the next decade is that HR needs to move from reactive HR to predictive HR by leveraging data and foresight to anticipate workforce needs. They should shift from focusing on policies and compliance to becoming business influencers and advisors, and then invest in future skills. We've talked about AI literacy, emotional intelligence, change leadership. So my key message to HR people is that the HR leader of tomorrow is not just managing people, but shaping the future of work alongside the CEO. HR is no longer the back office. We are the architects of business success. When strategy meets people, execution becomes inevitable. So that's my message to everyone on this call.
That's amazing, Emmanuel. I mean, I will keep it short again. In terms of, I'll also try to cover something that's not been touched upon so far. In terms of what I feel like a strategic planning would really sum up to, is for the whole organization to be aware of what is happening outside their organization, to be ready to actively learn, relearn, unlearn, and continue that cycle again and again to ensure that you are at the top of what you are. Because the moment you start being complacent at what you are doing, and you can take that from the organization level right down to an employee. If the moment you start being complacent at what you're doing, you start stagnating, you start becoming irrelevant to anyone that is in touch with you. So be prepared to go through that incessant cycle of learning what's happening, unlearning what you have already learned, and learn what is new so that you make sense to everyone. And how to ensure that this is not failing is by communication. And I'm not talking about like blasting out emails to the whole company about what strategies you're taking up, but communicate it proactively, communicate it to the right people. If you're an HR, ensure that any information that you are aware of the changes that are happening is being properly communicated. You might not be the person communicating, but just ensure that the information flows down. The moment we start working in silos and we think that we are doing the best that we can at our respective functions is when we start to fail because we don't know what's happening elsewhere. So just ensure that that chain is not unbroken, you're keeping it alive, and you are just at it. That would be my 2 cents.
Thank you so much. That's amazing. I would love for this conversation to go on for another hour, but we are right at time. But I'm still thinking about closing it. One last piece of advice, just a quick one from each one of you, so that we do have a perfect ending of the panel with one advice from each of the amazing leaders. So let's close it up with one piece of advice you'd offer to HR professionals looking to play a more strategic role in their organization. Let's close it up with 1 or 2 words that you think really is necessary for these people to have in mind.
Oh, I can go first. I would, for all my HR friends out there, business acumen, build on that. You need to know what's happening in your business. The moment you stop doing that, you're doing that admin job that you don't want to continue doing for the rest of your career. So that would be my advice.
I can go next. What I do is start doing part-time job in your sales functions. Literally, I'm telling you, just please 2 hours, 3 hours, whatever you can give, be part of how your company is making money and how your company is satisfying consumers. That's how you will understand the business, being on top of it, into it. That's what I would say.
Awesome, Des. Yeah.
I can go next. Yeah, these are great. I would say don't be shy. Act like you already have that job. If you act and operate like a support function, you're going to be treated like one. So I would just encourage, take initiative, communicate your successes, communicate the initiatives, and let your results speak for themselves.
Awesome. Love that.
Okay, so I will go next. So for me, I would say that the future belongs to organizations where HR leads with vision, because strategy without people is just paper. That's my message.
Wow, that's amazing. Thank you so much, Emmanuel. I really thank each one of our panelists for all your incredible insights, experience, and candor. And yes, to also our audience for taking the time to show up between your day and also adding up that beautiful perspectives into the chat box and being a part of this amazing kickoff panel. And I hope everyone are walking out with a good book of thoughts and perspectives and a few action items with your own organizations. And this is not it. We do have a panel two coming shortly. So stick around, refill your coffee if that's empty, and we'll see you right back just in a few. Thank you so much.